Hello my loves and welcome back to Love Out Luck. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're doing well with the darkness. I don't know what it is and how. Every single year I forget how dark it gets in the UK. 1:23 p.m. today, I had to put a lamplight on. There's just no way to live, is it? But anyway, hope you're all doing well. I've got to start reading the story too that I saw obviously on TikTok. There's a new trend going around and it's basically like the Muppets. And it's this like shocked Muppet face with just like the most embarrassing crazy stories, and I saw this one and it just made me laugh. Let me read it too. I met a boy during the first week of university and fell in love instantly. We dated for 2 months and then broke up. I was heartbroken, but we stayed friends, and 2.5 years later we got back together. I was ecstatic, and a week after that, we went out to one of his friend's 21st birthday parties. It was my first time seeing his friend group in 2.5 years, and I was nervous. I drank a lot. I don't remember how I got home. Next morning, I'm in his bed. I look over smiling and go in for a cuddle. He's just staring at me and asks, "Do you remember what you did last night?" I'm sorry. There's nothing worse than waking up drunk and you don't remember what you've done and the other person does. Like, there's nothing more anxiety inducing. I've definitely had that before. Shock. I remember once waking up and being all like happy and jolly and fine, and then I want to say being reminded, but I couldn't remember even after being told, which I think was a blessing. But that I had like fallen asleep in the bathroom, like in my flat, because I was obviously feeling worse for wear. But not like when you wake up in the morning after a drunk night out, usually I'm still pissed, and you feel safe to know you've made it home, your bag's there. First thing you do is get up, you check your bag, you check your phone. And as long as you've made it home, there's that like really sweet spot when you wake up after a night out where everything is well. And it's only when like the memories start coming back and the demons enter the chat, that's when it takes a turn. Sorry, but anyway, I just know exactly what she feels like in this moment. So she's in his bed, she wakes up, goes in for a cuddle, and he says, "Do you remember what you did last night?" "No," I asked. "You peed on my carpet." "Ha ha, no I didn't." "Yes you did, go and smell the rug." I'm not sure that's necessary. I laughed, thinking he was joking. Then I peeked over the bed and saw a wet rug and a pile of towels. He tells me I had woken up at 3 a.m, walked to the end of the bed, squatted down and peed on the carpet while he watched in shock, yelling my name. He proceeds to tell me I had shook, climbed back into bed, shook literally like a dog. I had shook, climbed back into bed and fallen back asleep, all while he sat there in disbelief and proceeded to clean up my mess for 40 minutes. I sit in shock, hearing his mother upstairs making breakfast, and wonder, how is he going to explain the piss-scented rug to his family? The boy is going to dump me again. I needed to get out of this house. I get back in my car, break down in tears. I can't call anyone because I'd have to admit what I did. Hours later, no word from him. I'm absolutely distraught. Then he calls. He blamed it on the dog. I'm in the clear. His family think I'm normal. We got married 2 months ago, 8 years after the incident. I haven't peed anywhere other than the toilet since that night. That is true love, guys. Do you know what it is like that saying, you can't say anything wrong in front of the right person? And it's like, you can't do anything wrong in front of the right person. Well, obviously, many caveats there, but just like generally, there's a certain type of person, if they're peeing on your rug, you're saying absolutely pack your bags, get out. I'm waking you out of that slumber and I'm putting you in a taxi home. But there's certain people, you just learn to see the funny side of it. I just thought that was so good. I've actually got a story of, I'm not going to name it because, you know, she'd probably be mortified. I'm telling you all. But when we were younger, so we were all living at home, like it's years ago, my friend got home pissed, went up to the attic bedroom, thinking it was the bathroom, pulled her trousers down, squatted down to pee on the attic floor, and her brother said he woke up and could just see the silhouette in the dead of the night, like this squatting shadow. I was like, oh my God, what are you doing, Mum? And she peed on his bedroom floor. Oh my God, so funny. I did have an ex before that was just absolutely steaming. I don't know if we'd been out together or if he came to mine after, because I wasn't that drunk, but he was steaming and he kept getting up to pee and getting up and going to do it like on my floor. And I was like losing it. That's like a thing where he wasn't the right person and I didn't find it funny. I was like, get to the bathroom. Could not sleep like all night. He's just like didn't know what he was doing. And he kept making these like really loud, weird noises like, oh. And it was when I lived with my friend Sophie and her boyfriend. They literally said to us the next day, what the hell was going on? Like, we thought you were doing something crazy. I was like, no. That apparently is him when he's steaming, trying to pee on my floor. No, he wasn't on my floor. He was getting up out of my bed, this is it, and turning to pee in the bed with me in it. Can you imagine? Oh my God, I was like frog marching him to the bathroom. It was disgusting. For some reason, I just think it's like way funnier when a girl does it. I think the image of it is funnier with a girl, like the squatting down. I don't know why, it just really cracks me up. And I do always think about my friend, that story years ago. Right. I've got a story for us this week from one of you guys, so let's go straight into it. And the subject is viewers and the viewers' help. So guys, rally up. She wants all our help here. She said, hey Sadie, tuned into your podcast yesterday. I've got the flu, so currently resting up watching First Daughter on your recommendation. Love, enjoying so far. Something about a 90s film, old school classic. You can't beat the 90s films. You know they're redoing Freaky Friday. I say redoing, they got like a sequel, Freaky Friday 2, and Princess Diaries 3. There's only been 2, haven't there? Yeah, Princess Diaries 3. Can't wait. Lap that shit up. All the original actors are in it as well, like even Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep is in... No, wait, I'm mixing up my films. Is Devil Wears Prada 2 coming out? Oh, I don't know. Do you know, I'm not even gonna go into it because I might be giving you wrong information. I know there's a Freaky Friday 2 and I know there's a new Princess Diaries. Oh, I'm gonna have to Google it. Is there a new Devil Wears Prada? I'm sure I've heard that as well. Oh my God, yes, Devil Wears Prada 2 is coming as well. Yeah, I did read it. I'm sure that Miranda Priestley is Meryl Streep still. Like, everyone's coming back. Wow, what a year that's going to be when all those come out. 90s is really coming back. Everything's coming back around. The fashion, the vibes, the aesthetics, and I'm here for it. Right, anyway, okay, she said, I wrote in a good year and a half ago for your advice on my relationship at the time. It was to get your advice about my boyfriend not liking pictures of my exes on social media. So I don't know if you guys remember this. I will put a link to the episode because I can't remember what number it is off the top of my head. But I do remember it. She basically, on her Instagram or social media, whatever, had pictures of her and her ex-partners still on there. And this new guy didn't like that. And she was like looking for advice. And I think the advice I gave was like, I can understand why you wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it if my boyfriend had pictures of their ex still on social media. I really wouldn't like it. However, as I always say, you've got to be careful of the controlling ones because it's a slippery slope when somebody asks you to do something and then before you know it, you're not going out anyway. You're not wearing certain clothes. You're not putting your makeup on the same. And I just think you have to be very wary of those types of things. I also think it makes a difference how somebody asks you to do something. If they come to you and they like, look, I know this doesn't mean anything, but it upsets me or makes me feel a certain way, fine. If a guy came up to me and said that, fine. But if he's like, I just don't understand why you've got to do it for, like, and they're aggressive and they name call you or they try and make you feel bad about yourself, those are big red flags. Sorry to go off on a tangent before we even started the story, but no, like last week I was telling you about my first boyfriend who was controlling. He would make little digs. I had this, I say friend, like Bailey, we were in school, I was so young, but I went out with him when we were like literal kids in like primary school and like Maithrin, which is like the baby school. And then I think like obviously we were all still in school. I think he like made a comment about me that he like fancied me. It's so petty now, but obviously at the time. But I remember my ex being like, right, I'm going to ring him and speak to him. And then I don't know if he ever did ring him because nobody ever mentioned it to me, and he went out the other room. Now when I look back, I'm like, there's no way that he rang him, but it's just all like a head fuck, I think, like a mind game. Anyway, and then when he came back in, he was like, oh, no, he doesn't even fancy you. Said he was joking, like, you're so big-headed thinking that he fancied you, and like basically ended up putting me down, and that's a big red flag to look out for. If they take him, the issue is that somebody fancied me and he didn't like it, but they make the issue you and they try and like get in your mind. So anyway, you've just got to be very, very careful. But here we go. She said, sadly, I split up with him a few weeks ago. I felt like we weren't good for each other in the end. A few reasons. I couldn't see us having kids or getting married with things how they were. One reason was he didn't give the impression he trusted me at all. I have 2 guy friends, both of which were there for me when I went through a tough time with my mental health, so I still want to keep them as friends. I didn't mention one of them initially to my boyfriend, not because I had anything to hide at all, but it just never came up. Anyway, that friend, we talked on and off for 6 months, and then his mental health dipped and I didn't hear from him for ages. At this point, I think I was a year and a month or so into my relationship with my ex, and my friend messages me. I mentioned how nice it was to hear from my friend, as I had been worried about him, as it had been maybe 6 months since we'd spoken last. Me not having mentioned him before to my ex was a big issue for my boyfriend. He got jealous and said it wasn't respecting our relationship. To be fair, from that point my friend did contact me a lot and I thought it was a little much, but he wasn't working and I wanted to support him and be a friend like he was with me. Yeah, see, this is the same thing. That the issue is that the guy doesn't like that there's a male friend texting her and he hates how that makes him feel and he's insecure. That's the issue. But rather than have the issue with a guy or just like say how it makes him feel and, you know, communicate it well, the blame is on her and it's making a big issue out of something not unrelated, but like that's not the issue. The issue isn't that it's bad on the relationship that you didn't tell me. Like, you're not going to meet somebody, be in a relationship with them, and then tell them about all your friends you've ever had unless it comes up in conversation. If it's a close friend and you're messaging them, then yeah, but if you haven't heard from somebody for 6 months, it's like me meeting someone now and not mentioning somebody I haven't spoken to for months, like on the get-go. And also, if it was a girl, he wouldn't say anything about her. So this is the thing. They cause a fuss out of other stuff and it's always your fault. Your fault in inverted commas. Obviously, it's not actually your fault, but that's what they make it out to be. And it's like the story last week, like she ended up apologising to him when she hasn't done anything wrong. Controlling people are very, very manipulative. I was going to say clever, but my first boyfriend was an absolute dum-dum, so... My ex was very worried about me talking to a male friend and at one point accused me of micro-cheating. I had to Google what this means, and apparently it's having an emotional relationship with someone. Okay, so my take on micro-cheating is a bit different actually. Definitely an emotional relationship. I'm sure I've like read about this stuff before. I can't find the post now, but I saw it the other week actually, and it was saying that micro-cheating can be emotional affair with somebody, messaging somebody on social media or like interacting with them on social media, pretending that you're single when you're out, getting attention or chatting people up when you're out, or like giving somebody a number, even if you've got no intention of like physically cheating with them. Just that whole act is considered as micro-cheating. Another one I remember, which I thought was interesting, was bad-mouthing your partner to somebody or bad-mouthing your relationship to somebody of like the same sex that you fancy, which I thought was interesting. So it's like if it's like me, like bad mouthing my relationship to a guy, like in the office or something, which, to be fair, that's just disrespectful, but that counts as micro cheating to some people. And obviously some of these things like will be classed as cheating to some people as well. Like some people, you know, if you give your number to somebody on a night out, even if like you blocked them straight after, some people would consider that as cheating. Obviously there's like different levels of it. But yeah, that's what some people call micro cheating. She says, anyway, even though we have now split up, my ex still mentioned when we met up last about my friend and is still asking why I didn't mention him sooner. Get over it at this point. You're not even together. You're not even together. Why are you pouring the thoughts in your mind on her mind? Just get over it. Is asking why I didn't mention him sooner, even though I made an effort to introduce them to each other to break the ice when we were together. I mean, there's really not much more you can do with that. Do you know what I mean? That's his problem, isn't it? The main advice I was looking for is, I'm finding it tough now we have split up. We still message and chat, and we've hooked up once since we've split. It would be nice to still be friends, but I'm not sure we can be. On a side note, I also miss his dog so bad. He said I can still walk him, but I also think that might not work either. Any advice from you and your listeners, greatly appreciated. I love the podcast and I love the independent woman, no mess and energy from this week's show. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm going to tell you what you don't want to hear though, but I think you know it's right. I don't think it can work being friends, because I do believe in the saying, if you can be friends with an ex, you're either still in love with them or you were never in love with them at all. And if I look back at my relationships, I would say that's true. If I'm still being friendly with an ex, it's probably because it feels like there's unfinished business there. Because for me, I'm just like, what's the point? As hard as it is when you break up with someone, and definitely when you first break up with someone, like at the start, you're gonna be in touch over things. Like things are always gonna remind you of them, and it's so hard. Like when you break up with someone, and it's that separation. It's actually like withdrawal symptoms, isn't it? It's like one of the hardest things. But like after that initial period has passed, like how long ago did you say they broke up? Oh, a few weeks ago. See, it's very soon, and that's why you're finding it so hard. And I think because it's so soon, it's even harder to be friends, because you've still got the feelings. You haven't fallen out of love with him. Although I was saying this, right, the other day, there's people I know that were in like a super serious relationship. They were married and like super long-term relationship, and they are still friends. But in my head, I'm like, there must be something there about them getting back together in the future. I don't know if it's naive. I think it's just because I can't understand it. But what you got to think is, if you don't think it can work with somebody, if you don't think you can get married, you are just wasting both your times eventually. I've had a relationship like this where I still had such strong feelings for him, but I was just like, he is not the one. And I couldn't even put my finger on it, but I was like, I just can't marry this person. And that is like one of the hardest breakups I've had, because we still got on, and I know that we could have still kept seeing each other and we could try to be friends, but ultimately it would just always come down to the same thing. And if you feel in your gut like you can't be with somebody forever, then you've got to cut the ties and go through the pain and come out the other side. And when you do, it'll be so much more worth it, because then you'll meet someone who will be a much better fit for you. Don't let your ex-boyfriend stop you from meeting your husband, you know? And also, like, the dog thing is sad. The dog, the family, like when you break up with somebody, you lose a whole life, do you know, that you had with them. You lose their friends, you lose their families, their pets. And it is really sad, but you can get that with other people. Or you might not get a pet. Your next boyfriend might not have a dog, but he will also not give you shit about not telling him about a male friend 6 months ago. And you'll be so much happier that soon you'll forget about the dog, or maybe you'll get one yourself. You know, you can have a dog by yourself. I also just think, like, trust, as people say, is the biggest thing in a relationship. And if you get the impression that he doesn't trust you and you literally haven't done anything wrong, then that's on him. And unless he's prepared to be doing the work, which doesn't sound like he is, then that's not going to change. And you're going to get back together and he's going to be making a fuss over who you're speaking to, where you're going. And I just, when I see a red flag for the controlling relationship, I just want to tell you to run, because like I've been in some, but I've also had, like my friend was in one, which is just, it's just not nice, and it's just no way to live. So unfortunately, I think you've got to cut ties there. It's harder at first, but better in the long run. But yeah, guys, if you've got any experience, about being friends with an ex, I always ask for these stories. We've literally had one story, but if you've got experience of that, or controlling the relationships, or if you just want to give your opinion, then please comment. You can leave comment on Spotify, you can DM me, you can send me an email, sadie@lovewhatluck.com, or I'm on Instagram at Sadie Maltby @lovewhatluck. And yeah, come and let us know your thoughts. People in America are mental, and I was literally saying the other day, they chat to anyone. Like London could never. When I was in Denver, I'd been on these tours and stuff, and I was just being spoken to, and I had to speak back like all day, and my kind of battery had run out, because obviously when you're speaking with somebody, firstly I've got to change my accent, I've got to slow down my accent, make sure I say words slightly differently, and pronounce my letters and all this stuff. So even that is draining, just that alone. And also just like your social battery, like sometimes I just need some me time. So it was one of those days, and I was like, right, okay, I'm going to go to a cafe, have some food, just go on my phone. And I literally got in, had my sandwich. I'm having deja vu, but I think it's because I vlogged. I can't remember if I've told you guys or the vlog or both, but it's because I was talking about it on the weekend. And she went to put my sandwich down, and he was like, do you think I can hear your thoughts? And I was like, what? What the hell? And then he was asking me if I think that Jesus can hear my thoughts. I thought, well, I hope not, because I'm slagging you off, mate. I hope you can hear what I'm thinking, and I hope God's not connecting us both. Because if you knew what I was thinking, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be talking to me right now. That went on for ages. And then just as I was going to bite into my sandwich, as the conversation died down, I was like, right, it's fine. Went to take my first cut. He went, that's an interesting sandwich. I was like, oh, people are nuts. So I am sad that as much as I love this Christmas mug, it does remind me of the guy, because he was also in my hotel the next morning for breakfast. I just had weird vibes from him. I'm just in full Christmas mode, guys. I just love it. Went to Harry Potter World on the weekend. It was so much fun. They did Hogwarts in the snow. They had the castle with all like the snow covered, and a screen behind with snow. And it was just like the most wholesome vibes. Do you know, though, there was this couple there, right? And this is so true how there's someone for everyone. There was this couple there, and they were dressed head to toe in Harry Potter gear. I'm not talking like branded jumpers. I'm talking the cape. They had the cape on, they had the tie. They were both Gryffindor. They were both in the same house of. She had the earmuffs on. They had the scarves. They had wands. And I was just like, there's someone for everyone. They've bonded over it. They're there together. They're having pictures together. It did make me think. I couldn't help but wonder. Some shit is going on in the bedroom there. Is just where my mind went. I just thought 100% that man is putting on a black bob wig, and he's being Severus Snape. He's being the bad guy in the bedroom. She is getting whipped with a wand. He's mixing up some potions and lotions. And that was the impression I got of him. But I just thought, how lush is that? You've got the same interests, and you're just out doing it together. There was another guy in there, another couple. He was such an intense fan. He was there for himself, though. I didn't see him get pictures together once. He was just in front of us. Because when you do the tour, it's a massive group and you go around by yourself. But, like, the way it's timed, you are kind of in the same groups. You end up, like, seeing the same people around. This guy was with his girlfriend. No pictures of them together. No selfies. It was always, will you take a picture of me? We were in the Gringotts Bank bit, which was fab. And we were just behind him, and he's like, sorry, do you mind if I have a picture? I said, no. And his stance was like holding a wand up to the sky, and she was the Insta girlfriend. It was a nice change to see, to be fair, because it's usually always the boy taking a picture of the girl, innit? Lord knows I've been there. But it was nice to see a guy get into it. Is proof, once again, you can't say the wrong thing in front of the right person. One day, he or she dropped into that conversation how much they love Harry Potter, and he said, like, I want to wrap this Slytherin or Gryffindor scarf around your ankles, and I want to hang you from the ceiling like the candles in the Great Hall, and I want to chow down on you. And she's gone, I've been thinking about that since we met. You know, because they're the right fit for each other. On a more serious note, I do think that is really good advice, because it's also like, if you say to the wrong person that you want to be exclusive, they're going to say, I'm not ready for that, and they'll make up excuses. But if you say it to the right person, it will work out. And I actually think that's really good advice. And I think it's really good, if you're like me and you don't usually like confrontation, it is really good advice for you to speak up with people. Because if someone's bothering you, the right person will be understanding. I mean, genuinely, obviously, I'm not backtracking on the whole thing I just said about being controlling. I'm not saying that. I'm just meaning, if someone bothers you and you tell the person, or you're not comfortable with the state of a relationship or something, and if you tell the right person, they'll be understanding and they'll work on it with you. Whereas I think the wrong person will react differently, and that's always a clue if you're with the right or wrong person. It's always like the way they react. I always think that, like, the way somebody acts in an argument tells you so much about them. If they can never apologise, if they can never take accountability, if the blame is, you know, always on you, if they name calling you, if they swore. Do you know, I once said, this is when I was 19, a boyfriend called me the C word in an argument. I wanted to knock his tooth out. But it just like turned just so serious to me. And other people have different boundaries. But when he said that to me during a mid-argument, like the argument was not serious. I can't even remember what it was over. It was probably because I looked at a boy, because my first boyfriend was controlling. My second boyfriend was also controlling, just in a different way. I was allowed to go out, but I wasn't allowed to look at anyone when I was out. So it was just like something so small, and he dropped the C-bomb. Ma'am, sorry if you're listening. I know she's going to be disgusted, but it's about time you knew. It's been almost 15 years since this argument. Right. I've got a love story for us, and this is my first love story, guys, that came through TikTok. So I'm actually really excited because I never get messages on TikTok. So here we go. I first met my now partner when I was 14 at an under-18s disco, and we kissed for the first time. Then afterwards had each other on MSN, MySpace, Facebook, etc. Oh my God, what a throwback. I never had MySpace, to be fair, but MSN back in the day was, oh my God, elite, absolutely elite. That's where you first start to flirt properly, I think. I then got into a relationship, and so did he. I was in mine for 5 years, but throughout the years, he would always like my pictures and try to message, which I would say I'm in a relationship. In my final year of university, my mum found out she had terminal cancer. Oh my word. My dad died when I was 5, and I'm an only child. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. And my relationship ended. As it happens, my social media photos, etc. changed. As I was newly single, I instantly got a so funny. She's like, hello, I'm back on the scene, and let me get my thigh out and my cleavage. My social media photos changed as I was newly single, and I instantly got a message from him saying, you're not in a relationship anymore, are you? He said, I am seeing a top that low cut for a while, and I know there's a reason behind it. I replied saying no, and he said, I'm taking you out. I've waited years for you, and I'm not letting you go now. Oh, we love it. Love to see a man take charge like that. And nothing makes you feel more wanted than that, you know, like you are the prize. Love that. I then said, I will, but I need to explain my mum has terminal cancer and she is my main priority. If she's not well or needs me, I will have to cancel. And he said he'll be there through it all. Guys, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. My God, this is like a revelation today. On the night of our first date, my mum had to be rushed to hospital, and after being there for hours, I was told to go home. I hated the thought of being on my own, so I messaged him after cancelling our first date, and he was there straight away. We sat up all night talking, and from then on we were inseparable. Ever since the first time he met my mum, he knew she loved Chinese food and got the menu from our favourite takeaway and told her to pick whatever she wanted. Instant hit with her. He helped care for my mum as she got worse, stayed in the hospice with me. I also found out I was pregnant after 3 months together, which my mum knew and was worried as she knew she wouldn't be there, and with how early I was in our relationship. Oh, I've just had chills. I just had goosebumps on my leg. He got on his knee to my mum and said, "I promise I will look after your daughter and our child." Oh, my word. No, this is making me emotional today. Oh. Wow. It's been a while since I've cried on it, so. She died just after New Year, and sadly I miscarried the baby, and we were devastated. Oh, my word. Probably should have read this beforehand, prepared myself. Whew, hang on. Oh, I've got full chills. Oh my God. This is ridiculous. I'm not Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo on the Wicked tour. Wow, okay. He helped carry my mum's coffin at her funeral, and he was by my side through it all. A couple of months later, I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, my mum's wish. She ended up being born prematurely in the same year. Then 3 years later, during lockdown, our son arrived. 8 years together, 2 children, a house and 2 dogs. So anyone who worries about rushing into relationships, we are proof they can be successful. Oh my God, that is such a wonderful story. There's so many parts that I love. I love that he knew it was her. That's what we all want, just that idea. I just love it, that he's so sure about her and he waited for her. I love, obviously, that he was there for her. Also, getting the mother the Chinese and picking up those points. Feeling seen and heard is to be loved. Saying you like something and then them turning up with that thing. Is that a love language? Maybe gifts or something? I don't know. It just does something to you. My friend went on a date and she won't mind me saying if she's listening. She found out that her date liked eggs. Random that they were talking about it, and she was talking about these eggs in the market and have you tasted them and all this stuff, and then she took a pack of eggs on the first date. Also hilarious because then they were carrying around a pack of 6 eggs as they're going around bars and stuff. But she voice sorted me about it, and I was like, it's just so sweet. If I said to somebody, oh my God, yeah, on text, I just absolutely love a Birkin. No. They came with a Birkin. No. I just mean the little things, if you say in passing that you like something or you love the colour red, or, oh my God, I wanted to get flowers, they didn't have any there, or I love Maltesers, or anything little. And then they come with that. I just think it's so sweet. Although, to be fair, I need to be better at doing that as well, because I don't know how good I am at that. I am a little bit, but it feels so nice, doesn't it? And then sometimes you're like, well, do I do that for people? I don't know. But yeah, that's such a good move as well, especially getting in to your mother's good books. That would have put her in at so much ease. Do you know, I saw a story the other day, and her mother passed away when she was a teenager, and she was gay, and she never told her mother because she hadn't fully accepted she was a teenager or whatever. And she found her mother's journal when after she'd passed, and the mother had scribbled out, I wish that, say her name was Becca, I wish that Becca will find a boyfriend who loves her, who loves her or makes her happy. And then she had crossed out boyfriend and put partner, because she must have known, or at least had a good hunch that her daughter might be gay. But also I just feel that's a mother's wish. Like, my mother's definitely said that to me before. Like, over the years, she'd be like, I just want you to, you know, meet someone or be with somebody or whatever. And I think it's because like they worry about you so much and they want to know that you'll be okay. And it is old school because we can be okay by ourselves now. But like ultimately, I'm an independent woman. I don't need a man. But ultimately, we all do love. Like, there's no point denying it. No, I think we've got to a good stage now where nobody wants a shit love and we'd rather be by ourselves than with an arsehole. And that's growth. I don't think it used to be like that years ago. People were putting up with mad shit. We're independent now. We're earning more money. We don't actually need men. People are not having kids as much. You can even have kids without a man now. But if the right man came along and was lovely, I'm not sure how many people are turning away love. Do you know what I mean? We're turning away shit and we're not settling, but we all love. And I just think a mother wants that for you. She just wants to see you happy. So to get like in the mother's good books like that, such a flex. I honestly couldn't be with somebody that my family didn't like. I would find it so hard, like if they didn't like him or if he like didn't make an effort with them. And I know so many people have relationships like that. I also would hate to be with someone if I didn't like their family. And I know people have relationships like that, and I know it works, and it shouldn't be the be all and end all. And like all families get annoying at times, like I'm sure. But I would just find it so hard if I was with someone and my mother was like, he's not the right one for you, or I don't like him. Yeah, I would hate that. Or like more than that, if he was a dick to us, that would just be an instant turn off for me. If I introduced my mother to a boyfriend and he just like was rude or just had no interest, or, you know, she cooked us dinner and he like got up and just like went in the room and like wasn't polite, ooh, wouldn't be pleasant for you. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I'm going to end with a quote that I saw this week. And I actually saw on Instagram, like from a girl that I know, so that I did message about. So if she off the off chance listens, apologies for taking credit for this, but I'm sharing it with the listeners because I loved it. Wow, the vocal fry is really frying today, and I apologise, but it's cold. It's getting cold out, and the throat's feeling it. Okay, here's a quote for us all. A pause for thought, if you like. Everything that is truly right for you will make you feel at ease. Everything that is truly right for you will seem so simple, so obvious, so comfortable. Everything that is truly right for you will choose you as quickly as you choose it. Everything that is truly right for you will happen serendipitously and spontaneously. It will come to you when you expect it and when you don't, as both a surprise and a certainty. It will seem like such an obvious fact of your life and yet entirely new all at once. That's like a feeling that I think is the right feeling of when you know you meet someone special, and it can be so exciting and new, but you've just got that gut feeling of like contentness, if that's the word, and like comfort and like a safety and a security of just like being with them, and like you know it's right. And that is the feeling of like when you know. I think it's that ease in addition to the excitement, which is like a really special thing to do, isn't it? To be excited for somebody, and which gives you butterflies. So you're like a little bit nervous, but then when you're with them, to feel so safe and content, and yeah, at ease. Okay, the second verse says, what's truly right for you will make you the person you've always wanted to be. It will stretch the edges of your comfort zone and soothe your soul at the same time. It will bring you to what you've always wanted and beyond any way you've ever dreamed. It will happen not as a matter of force, but of fate. It will not be something you will into existence, but something you find when you have the courage to finally let go of everything else that was standing in the way. I also think you can apply that to like jobs, places, people. I think, well, that's my 2 cents, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode. I feel a bit all over the place this week. I don't know why. With tears 1 minute. I'm not sure I've cracked a joke. I feel a bit aloof. But cheers to December. It's Christmas. If you've got anything that you want me to talk about, any stories, any points. I was thinking the other day that I'm sure I used to do episodes like based on topics rather than stories. So if you think you want to go back to like a topic and a story, then yeah, just let me know. As always, I'm just out here grinding by myself. So any comments and tips appreciated. And I appreciate you all so much for listening and for commenting. And yeah, hope you all have a good week. And I'll speak to you next Tuesday.